Welcome again, PFL faithful. It is Inside the PFL. This is Season 7, Week 1. I am your former champion, El Zubador, Joe. Joined not as ever by a new face? This is the first time you're doing this, right?
First time you're doing this.
First time you're doing this. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Mario.
It's Mario. You have won.
And I'm here to party.
Partio.
Partio. Mario Party. That was the joke.
Mario, you have wanted to be on Inside the PFL since the very first one that we did, I think?
Yes.
And you passed me up twice, you motherfucker.
I had things to do.
Are there things more important than Pokemon, you bitch?
Sometimes.
Alright, okay, whatever. Well, it's been a very eventful week 1. Mario is here because I said to Thomas, hey, we're going to record at 7 tonight. And Thomas was like, cool. And then he didn't answer me. And I told Manny, let's wait a day for Thomas. And then Manny's like, no, I don't want to record on a Friday. But then I kept asking him, when do you want to record today? When do you want to record today? And he didn't get back to me. And Thomas also didn't get back to me. So here we are. Fuck you both. I'm the one that edits it. So Mario's here and he's the co-host.
Look at me. I'm the co-host now.
Look me in my eyes. Bring everybody up to speed here. What did you think of week 1?
Heckin' good.
Heckin'?
For the most part. Now, there's a couple things I have a couple issues on.
There was some...
In Platinum, I'm not going to mention Gage or Sneaky's name, but...
Sneaky tried.
No, nothing against him. I'm just...
That's what counts.
Yeah. And then, we got to see a lot of good strategies, a lot of weird calls I thought people made in the draft. Like, it's all starting to make sense now. A lot of weird texts and team building, composition. Like, it's all starting to come together.
I agree. There was a lot of dirty play on the good and bad side. I think, this week.
Yeah.
So
people showing their true face.
We'll get right into that here. Normally, here's where we'd have the weekend observations. I didn't want to write any weekend observations. Manny wrote his. Maybe if he tells me before I records himself doing it, I can edit him in here just in case.
It'd be happening right now.
Okay, so week 1
All
battle.
right, week 1. All right, let's Joe start us off here.
Gage versus Sneaky didn't happen.
Now that puts a lot of pressure on me because if you look at both Gage and Sneaky's teams, they have very good teams, and I'm over here like, I got to deal with Lando. I got to deal with Thundo, and I don't know how to deal with them yet because they didn't battle.
You've got the week 1 experience twice, which I don't envy because that is pretty... The week 1 experience, as we'll see, again, a lot of kind of bad dirty play, which week 1 might be part of the reason for that. Exemplified almost to the T by our first match that I have listed here. I had it listed as the first match that took place, but that actually isn't the case. The first match here, Tristan over Garrison +3. Now, a funny thing happened with this battle.
Can I just say one thing?
Please.
Learn how to read? This is not our first rodeo for most of us here. We say it every week 1 for every season.
Before we started, I even told Manny. Manny wrote out his thing like, hey, write something out to let people know, like, here's the rules that most people end up breaking. Make sure you don't break them. And then he didn't add in the don't start with your mega. And I was like, make sure you put that there. And then, lo and behold, the team preview comes up. Garrison's already got Mega Metacham. Whoops. It happens to the best of us. Yeah. That's fine. The second mistake that happens, and I didn't catch this either, they were like, oh, well, let's restart real quick. I did something else for a minute. I don't know what I did. I went to the bathroom or whatever, and I came back, and they were...
Sometimes it takes too long.
Yeah, and already they were on turn 8, and I started over from the beginning. I didn't catch up until about turn 20, and then, of course, turn 23, normal Metacham comes in at level 100, and it's like, uh-oh. Gotta start over. A lot of weird shit happened in the first 20 turns, including, I think it was Muck. Somebody got frozen at some point. So Garrison was up 4-3, I think. And Tristan was even like, I feel kind of bad restarting. You had the advantage here. And it was all like worked out. Like, let's do what we can to just sack the Mons that are already dead. And we'll start from there. And then turn 2, Garrison just like, fuck it! And then it leads to some sloppy play. I don't know if that's the main reason. I don't know if we had fucking
stuff gets into your head.
Somewhere to be, but like... and I was even there. Like, I was watching. I was like, it's fine. You guys can, do whatever as long as you come to an amicable agreement, I'm fine with whatever you guys do. And yeah, just basically the plan kind of ended up thrown out the window. And...
Oh, boy.
I think it was because they both sent in Pokemon that already died, and they didn't know who was going to kind of lead. And it was just like, we already talked about this enough, fuck it. I mean, things kind of ended up evening out. Garrison did have the lead for a good while, but then a little problem happened with Tyrantrum, who I'm happy to see actually do a decent amount of work.
Love Tyrantrum. Love him.
Tylantrum.
Yeah.
My Lantrum.
Oh, my Lantrum.
I'm really glad that Tyrantrum already here got a bit of shine where it has the normal kind of Lumberry Dragon set, D-Dance Lumberry, takes the Willow like a champ from Sableye, and then everybody had such a big fucking problem with Sableye, and Tyrantrum just like,
nope,
fuck off.
I got 2 words for you.
Not in my house.
Smash!
And then Metagross did most of the rest of the work where...
As it normally does.
As it does, because Metagross is a fucking monster.
Beast!
It did a bunch of bullet punching, and Garrison kind of fucked up here, because at this point he only had Alolan Ninetales, Rampardos, and Amok. And Amok is, it's a defensive type. I don't know if he wasn't carrying...
What do the other 2 have in common?
Oh, they're weak to bullet punch.
They're weak to what?
Bullet punch.
Okay.
Bullet punch. So Rampardos just dies, which was a bit sad. Ninetales had the sash at least, so it was able to do something, but...
It was able to make it look like it wanted to do work.
You didn't really need to... I mean, again, we all make these mistakes. I will always go back to... So Bulu's sitting there, staring down Amon holding Z-Ice, and I have Amon in my back pocket. 4 times resistant to ice. I just sit back and I go, Bulu can take this.
No. No, it cannot.
So you live and you learn, hanging on the edge of tomorrow.
It's week 1, man.
Yeah.
It's week 1.
Exactly.
Take your time. Breathe.
You want to talk about somebody who doesn't look like they missed a fucking beat.
Oh yeah.
Let's go to the next match immediately here. James over Thomas +2. Mario, we watched this match together in preparation for, kind of recording here, and you made some very clear points where at no point during the match did it look like James was out of control, that he had any right to be even worried about what was going on.
Yeah. Thomas, I love you to death, man, I do. You are good at this. But James had full control over the match from turn 1. There was not a single point where he was like, oh no. Uh-oh.
There were all these little things that were happening where I don't know if Thomas was playing it too by the book. A lot of the times there were some things that happened where I felt like, I mean, a lot of times it's 50-50. So sometimes you don't want to take those chances. Sometimes but when you're down out, when you need to make a comeback and you're doing things like, and I know that it probably doesn't make too much of a difference, but like you use Wish and he's got the Flame Orb up and everything like that with Conk, and it's just like, let me just hit Scald real quick, because he's probably expecting Protect for self-preservation purposes.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. You hit Protect, you get the Wish back, but he ends up getting more health back because...
And that's what James knew. It wasn't a matter of Thomas, like, he played it smart. You wish, you protect, it's what you do.
Right.
But James knew that, gets the free bulk up. Now what? When you become too predictable and someone does have setup, that's what's going to happen.
It's weird to think about how much being by the book can be against you in this league. Weirdly.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
And there's a few matches where we could talk about that too, where as long as you are expecting something of your opponent and they fulfill that, then that's your advantage.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the difference between a draft league like this and actual competitive OU Smogan.
Yeah, turn 1, if you got 2 Landos staring each other down, you trade rocks.
Yeah.
Like, you just
it's
do
just
it.
what you do.
Yeah. You're not going to try to do something stupid like, I got a fucking Specs HP Ice Lando coming at your ass.
Because you can't predict.
No.
But here you can predict because you know your opponent's team. You know 11, you know they're going to bring 6. Take the time, look at it.
And even then, in the battle itself, what set is this Pokemon running? What is the play that it would normally do here? And you want to try to subvert expectations sometimes, which is unfortunately what Thomas didn't do.
That's like my thing.
Well, that's what you want to do, but you don't want to go... Again, it goes into going too hard. Brick Charizard, as we all know. Pulling out the craziest shit.
Brick Miltank now, bro.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Half these guys don't know about Charizard.
Doesn't Mike have Miltank? I bet he's not even going to use it.
No, idiot. I should trade him.
I think it was a real return to form for James. I'm fucking scared. I got to play him at some point. I think week 7.
Like, by the way, guys, this is what it looks like when he takes the game serious.
When he tries.
Not
even sure. He's still fucking around, probably.
Oh, yeah. No, let's be real. He won with a mustache team. Let's keep that in mind. I'm going to make everyone have a mustache.
And then
That's my boy. That's my boy right there.
And then I gave him the pink Jellicent to piss him off. Next up, we got Manny with the biggest win of the week here. Manny +4 over M1, where there's definitely, at least the start out here, seems like a bit of a sophomore slump. Again, it could be week 1, but you look at what happened in the battle here, where this might even be one of those like subverting expectations too much kind of things.
That's fair.
Where you try to get cute too early in the game. You even see from turn 2 because of fake out. You've got Crook out. It was scarfed. And you use Rock Slide, which Incineroar's out, and it's good against Incineroar, but he's probably expecting an Earthquake or something, and like you switch in Chestnut, who can tank that Earthquake because of its big D and resistance. So automatically you're behind the 8 ball. Knockoff or Rocks probably would have been better there.
Definitely Rocks. Now knockoff would have been good because they had the Rocky helmet, right?
Chestnut? Yeah.
And that caused
that
problems later on
for low punny. That unfortunately these sort of things happen where like we've talked about this before too, I think, where your eyes are on the prize. This super effective move deals with that Pokemon that's weak to it, and you put the blinders on, and you don't see that there's 5 other Pokemon on the team.
Pretty much the same way as James, just full control over the game. You didn't make any mistakes. Everything was calculated. Everything was strategic, smart, excellent. M1, breathe, man. Take some time.
There was some set fuckery going on as well because he wanted to replace Heat Wave with Air Slash, but then he just ended up having both of them on his Zapdos and no electric move, which some pivot would have been nice in the match too.
I feel like I really need to say this. When you're building your team in Team Builder, take that extra 2 minutes and just look at it. Prevent lack of EVs, prevent lack of items, prevent doubling up. I think you happened last season, you doubled up move or you forgot a move.
No, what happened with me was I put moves on that they didn't have because I was writing out, like physically writing out in a notepad.
Yeah.
In the program notepad at work my sets, and I was like, he probably, like Weezing, why wouldn't Weezing get Ice Beam? He gets Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't Aerodactyl get U-turn?
Just take the extra second. I've done it before. I've forgotten items. I've doubled up on moves, which canceled a move out.
That was another big problem with writing your sets out, which...
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Just do through the builder. Do through the team builder. And take that extra second. Just go over it. Make sure everything's 100. If you...
Keep it 100.
I like to put everything shiny. Not that... Because I like them shiny. But so that I know that I went into that section in the team builder and put them at level 50. Because it's the first thing I do. The second is make them shiny. Just as a double guarantee.
Yeah, it's not a bad strat.
Yeah, or I like to have them all be the same color, but whatever.
And I think we could say as well, Intimidating Incineroar and Chestnut backing it up. The dynamic duo.
Yeah, I love it. You got 2 uniquely typed starters from 2 different generations.
2 very recent gens.
2 very recent gens. It's these 2, like, they're like big bouncers, you know what I mean? They're like big, beefy, one's a wrestling man.
They're the gatekeepers.
Yeah. The other's like a paladin.
I'm going to commission Rob right now. Rob, I know you don't listen to these. You need to draw Incineroar and Chestnut as a tag team. As tag team wrestlers.
You got Kane and you got under Chestnut.
And the Chestnut Taker, of course. Next we got a match that it made me want to die.
Oh no.
A match that literally, I said in the chat during, and then Mike said to me the following day, watching this match made me want to die.
So I talked to Mitch a lot at work. It's my boy. Mitch is my boy. When he told me this idea for this team, I said every one of your matches is going to be over 50 turns.
I don't know if it broke 50 turns, though.
51.
Oh, okay. There we go. You're 1 for 1, then.
I'm pretty sure. I told him, everyone, if you played this smart, you play it the way it should be, every match is going to be 50 turns.
And we're talking about Mitch over Dan, by the way, +1. Yeah. Mitch played terribly.
Oh, yeah. With a team like this, with a team that is so bulky, Regenerator, Steelers with his big defense.
Chansey, the absolute asshole.
Yeah, Chansey, the beast that it is. You don't even have to play 100%, and you'll still do fine. And you can afford the slip-ups.
Such as
3
separate occasions where, so, Gardevoir's in. There's Gardevoir staring Chansey down. What's Gardevoir going to do other than switch out? And 3 separate times Mitch is like, I'm going to click Toxic when there's a fucking Steel type. A Fighting type. A Steel Fighting type!
The perfect answer for Chansey, by the way.
Just,
and, there it is.
Hit Seismic Toss. For fuck's sake.
Now he gets it now. Oh, I drilled it into him.
Like,
all I did was yell.
It's like
it's tough love, Mitch. It's tough love.
Even if you get it wrong, even if guard stays in, you're still getting like 33% damage on it. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's all about that chip.
And you talk to me.
Or heal yourself.
Yeah,
you know what's happening.
Or hit softball.
You know he's switching. Gardevoir's not going to want to deal with that.
No. One other thing you mentioned as well with this was Dan, and I don't know why, like, you showing it to me, it's as clear as fucking day. Dan could have won.
Yeah.
Dan had the perfect opportunity to win. I mean, we didn't look at the calcs on how exactly it would have panned out, but he's down to just, it's Infernape with, like, toxic and very low health, and Lottie... 1%.
It has 1 health.
Literally 1%
Singular health.
So it's going to die, no matter what. And Latios, who's still at, like, 60%.
Mm-hmm.
Versus Cobalion and Mega Guard, who, on paper, that's actually pretty even. But, like, Guard stays in and dies to a Flare Blitz... when he could have switched in Cobalion to die to the Flare Blitz.
He switched in Cobalion to die to the Flare Blitz. Gardevoir comes in, the only thing that really outspeeds...
Well,
not outspeed. It's just...
You just need to survive a Z Psychic.
Yeah. And then, I don't know what his other move was, but Gardevoir, with its giant-ass special defense, is taking whatever Latios has, including...
A resisted Z Psychic probably wouldn't have killed. I mean, it was like 40... Like, after Rock's damage, it probably would have been like 40%, which... I mean, maybe it's a toss-up, I'd say, but yeah, that's one where he had the opportunity, and I don't know if he didn't see it or he gave up or what, but like it was there, and the fact that it says the most about Chansey and Alomomola, the fact that Mitch was able to win in such dire circumstances.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I don't think people realize about fighting against teams that are so defensive with all the sustain in the world. When these games go over, 30-some turns, a little thing starts to happen. I don't know if you guys notice this or not, but it's called, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. I don't want to fucking play this game anymore. I got all that shit to do. I want to go, I don't know, go out, go get a drink, go study, whatever. Whatever you got to do. So now you're talking about a game that goes past 50 turns.
So it becomes the mental game.
At this point, now Mitch has the perfect opportunity to not only, like, win through, toxic damage and, chip damage and then sweeping at the end. No, he just wants to break your spirits.
It's a shame that he's not playing Mike.
What was your match with, I want to say, Mike, that went over 50 turns? So how many turns was that?
That was Season 2,
Season 2, yeah,
Season
Suicune.
2. Suicune versus Slowbro, I believe. Yes, where, I don't even remember how that ended. It was just me calm-minding and resting a lot, I think, right? Or, like, he couldn't do anything with Slow. I needed the plus to get out of last place, and I was not going to switch out Suicune, even though Slowbro kept hitting Scald or kept hitting whatever.
Do you remember how many turns?
I want to say 70.
I believe it was 72. We're going back a while now.
This is
Imagine playing this game for 72 turns. Now that's if you were to do a turn if you're able to get 2 turns in a minute, 30 seconds a turn, you're still looking at...
That's a half hour.
You're still looking at 35 minutes, 36 minutes. That's a half an hour dedicated to this game. That should only take you 15, and that's with thought.
Now, to be fair, I'm a very defiant motherfucker, because if you remember that doubles battle, that random doubles battle that I posted where I literally would not give up, even though Gliscor could not hit whatever the fuck my opponent had. I was like, you're not breaking me, motherfucker. 110 turns, you're gonna die to struggle, bitch, because I'm gonna survive. I'm a survivor.
Just think about that next time you're going up against Mitch.
And that's the thing. I'm in for the long con. All the matches that I had against Kyle last season, I was in for it.
Yeah.
All those were matches that took an hour, and I was not out of it for a second. So you better watch your ass, everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're a little off topic here. We're going to give this one a little bit less time. So the next match is me over Murphy, +3. Sandro Statland?
It's a classic.
Sandro Statland. It won a championship.
It's you have to give credit where credit is due. For such a dumb-looking little stupid dog, it kills it. It's a beast.
And no, honestly, I think that Murphy had some good ideas there. He did have... I mean, he let Bishop just die, which Bishop scared me a lot. Yeah. And I'm really angry that it just came in on a moonblast and died, because I was just like, I need to be really fucking careful. And at that point, all he had was Furfro, and I did crit it, but I was also poisoned at that point because of Toxic Spike, so he couldn't have T-waved me. So I don't know, like, if Furfro was just there to wait out sand turns at that point. I mean, the strat probably was, let me just T-wave this guy. But best laid plans of mice and men, of course, to where it also happened in the match. For me, I feel like just, it's other Pokemon did work in there. Feeny did a lot for that match.
Oh, yeah.
Tyranitar did. Tyranitar, scary guy. hitting those stone edges, already worth the price. And a mon that ended up having to be a pariah in there, which again, best laid plans. Mostly as an answer for Bisharp, I had Focus Sash, Blacephalon in there. And then I switch in, he's like, I forget if it was either Fake Out or Close Combat or whatever he used to make a
He
guy.
went for Drain Punch.
Drain Punch. Thank you.
Called the Drain Punch.
And then I lost the health because of sand, and I'm like,
oh, wait a minute.
Oh, and then he hits knockoff and I'm dead. Which, understandable. Made of paper, kind of papery. 115 beats 107, so should have scarfed him, but best laid plans.
Yeah.
Next we got Mike's win +2 over Rob here. The big thing of this match, and a kind of like how last season there were crits everywhere week 1. There were a lot of 85% misses week 1. None more so in Rob's match here, where he misses both a Willow and a Leech Seed, both in pretty crucial situations.
Crucial Willow.
Yeah. Missing that on Mega Scizor, and you were with Rob, I was with Mike while it was happening, and he's just like, what do I lose if I Swords Dance again here? And I'm like, you're not wrong. And then he does, and then there goes the missed Willow, and I mean, at that point again, Rob got a little shook and didn't immediately send out Chandelure, where even at looking at the calcs plus 3 times Bullet Punch did 50% damage to Chandelure. Yeah. It wasn't a lot. So and he let Alolan Dugtrio die.
He let a Dougie die.
Yeah. Which I was gonna say he did it for Tangling Hair, but that doesn't make sense considering it's a priority move.
Yeah. Another thing, this goes back, now we don't know exactly what happened there, but if everything went through the way it should have, Chandelure should have outsped Raikou because Chandelure was scarfed. Rob was a little dejected, didn't want to show us his set afterwards, but I can only assume he didn't put speed EVs. That's the only thing that makes any sense.
Because otherwise, that's the only way that normal Raikou could outspeed.
It just goes to show. Take that extra minute. Look at your team. There's a little, when they're all right stacked on top of each other, just scroll down. Make sure everything's what you want.
Make sure you see the plus and the minus. Make sure you see the 50 and the item.
And make sure you have your 4 there. Make sure that you're doing 252, your 252 and 4 if you're not doing mixed spread. That 4, as we saw last season, comes in clutch. All right,
it does.
It really does.
Well, was that in one of the matches that Tyler cheated?
Oh no, that was in my match where
poor Trevor. Oh my God.
I'm sorry, little buddy.
He's not here. He's not going to hear it. Whatever.
I know. He might one day.
Poor guy. And finally, we had the last match on our list here, which was your match. And it was everybody had a pretty good win this week, other than Mitch. Everybody had a pretty good win this week here. Yours especially, which this is the second time in a row now, which I saw immediately. Again, you're really good at this, subverting expectations, where last season when you played Kyle, turn 1, I don't remember who it was exactly.
Oh, it was Scarf, Moxie, Heracross.
There you go.
Just enough to outspeed max invested
Mega Sceptile.
Yeah, speed Mega Sceptile.
Turn 1 code that, and Kyle's like,
uh-oh.
And then for this one here, you get the boy, Electros, my favorite guy.
So good.
Hitting the Drain Punch turn 1 on Weavile and Oko in there, and Kyle once again being like,
uh-oh.
The only difference this time, Kyle didn't have the stall. He didn't have a way to even the momentum. Mm-hmm. It kind of, once you were out of the gate like that, he was just like, whoa, okay.
He had no way of slowing me down.
Yeah. And, I mean, because Weavile, obviously, it's, the big pick, 160, and just, it's much like Blacephalon, just, it can be gone like that. And then all of a sudden, there goes a big threat, and you're like,
And then I took my opening.
I would ask why lead with Weavile, but...
Well, when you're staring on the barrel of something that's, I want to say, 120 attack, 125 speed.
I think we looked this. It's either 115, 125, or 120, 125, or something like that.
Now you have what I could only assume is a choice band knockoff.
Yes, because again, you ran the calcs for this, and
that was the hardest hitting thing it could have possibly have done to me.
And then we looked at, and this was like a modest Drain Punch, right?
Yeah,
like
it was
minus
a modest
attack,
0 invested Drain Punch.
A minus attack, 0 investment Drain Punch, because that's just how papery something can be with a 4 times weakness.
Yep, that's why you got to be careful when you're drafting 4 times weakness Pokemon.
Right, exactly. Which I wanted to talk about. That set specifically with the Electros had so much.
All the coverage.
Stupid shit on it. Was it like it had the Drain Punch for Weavile?
Yes.
Did it have HP Ice? Was it for Gliscor?
It had HP Ice for Gliscor and Noivern. And it had Giga Drain for Gastrodon.
So you had basically every... And what Volt Switch was the last one, I think?
And Volt
Just to have something.
Yeah, stab and get out.
Yeah.
Slow pivot.
Electros, and I've talked up Electros before. It's... I don't want to say a worse Mew. It's a weird Mew.
Yeah,
it's
unpredictable.
With Levitate, it's got no weaknesses. And it's got a move pool. Its attack and special attack are like 115, 105, I think, or 115, 95, something like the Coco stats, which isn't great. But with an AV, it's got longevity and it gets
sustain
almost every move.
Yeah, it's
every
it's
move that you need. I'd say, like other than maybe an EQ, which like HP ground at that point. Fuck it.
Yeah,
but like
whatever.
You get a lot of stupid stuff. You get knockoff in there. You get it's. If you're not ready for it, it's a fucking Swiss Army Pokemon.
Yeah, and it's slow.
Which also, yeah, you talked about was a big thing there because of the fact that Hariyama tried knockoff when Hariyama came in. You Volt switched and you just, again, you ate the knockoff there and Electros survived and you're out and something now suddenly Hexorus is in and you're gonna deal with it.
And then I click one button and I say deal with it.
Kyle did say that he did over prep for Scizor, which is, we also talk about more subverting expectations. This is another one of those here. If you see something that's a threat and you're like, there's no way he's not bringing that, which is, I did a lot in Season 5 when I won because you see Politoed and Kingdra and you're like, I gotta fucking deal with that, and then I don't bring it, and it's like,
now what? Which is exactly what I did. Now, I used to do this a lot with Salamence and Heatran last season.
Right.
Because you look at these two beasts, you look at the beast that is Scizor, and you go, this thing is a problem. Well, what happens when that problem goes away, and that was the only problem you were focused on? Now, I have two other giant physical attackers hanging out in the back door.
Yeah, he didn't even, like, Mamo was just, like, surprised. I'm like,
hey,
I
didn't even count Mamo in that. Sorry, 3. I totally forgot Mamo.
Like, that's the thing. It's like, Mamo's like, I'm on the team. Because you drafted it, like, almost last.
Yes.
So.
He was the last one that I thought about.
So that's the thing. You can kind of slip that shit in and be like, you know, hey.
No. Ice Ground. Not something fun to deal with.
No. And it's a very good competition mon for, like, a mon to compete with Weavile, rather. Like,
yeah.
For, like, as, you know, just as good and bulky.
There's another thing. He was also ready for everyone that had a 4x weakness. He had Superpower for Weavile.
Yep.
He had Earthquake for
Magnezone.
And he had any ice move for Gliscor and for Noivern. You have to be careful with coverage when you're running a lot of 4x weaknesses.
And I know that, you know, Manny had said, like, I don't know if he said it on the draft thing or whatever, you know, draft a lot of Pokemon with 4x weaknesses. But
no, he definitely said that.
But then you got to be careful for when you run into something like that.
Yeah. So if they're frail, you have to be careful.
Make it weird 4x weaknesses too. Like Hoopa Unbound is interesting because it's 4x bug weakness. Because I mean, a lot of stuff can run U-turn, but like you're not gonna. People can run U-turn as coverage. Maybe not. Maybe
no, that's not their. They run it for pivot. Yeah. They don't run it for coverage.
Well, I mean, not for coverage, but it can be used as coverage at that point. But yeah, like ice, obviously very common. Ground, incredibly common. Mm-hmm. So I hope that doesn't come back to.
Fighting.
Yeah, that doesn't come back to bite Kyle at all at any point because that can get dicey pretty quick.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to talk about trades and pickups real quick.
Long segment. Sorry, guys. This is going to take a while.
I mean, you thought Thomas's fucking segment about the team breakdown was bad last season. Oh, all right.
Just wait.
Set your fucking stopwatches. Rob dropped Spiritomb for Magneton. So, Mario, So, Mario, we're going to introduce a new segment since you're the co-host here. We've got, you were like, I want to do a thing. I want to do a thing if I'm going to be a co-host, which normally it would be, like, Mike came on and he did weekend observations that I mostly wrote.
Yeah, of course.
I did weekend observations once, and Mike, again, can't say it enough, Mike has no fucking idea how the cadence for weekend observations worked, whatever.
If he decides to come back, he's really got
it, it's like a
focus on that. Now, quick here.
There's a rhythm to it.
It's your cadence. You said it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so I want to do my own thing. I want it to be mine, completely original. If anyone else does this, I'm going to make fun of you.
Which I believe you misspelled just as list, I believe was what happened when we were talking on Facebook before you came over. And then I said, no lists, never lists. And then it was suddenly, maybe you should make a list.
Yeah.
So the new segment we are debuting here, Mario's top 5 and bottom 3 of the week here. 4, the subject being
Mons that did work. Number 5, we have Chansey. Now, the reason I say Chansey at number 5 is because it was kind of held in
very frail hands.
Very frail hands. I know, Mitch, I love you to death, but let's be real here. But a Mon like Chansey is a monster even in the hands of a neophyte.
A literal pocket monster.
A literal pocket monster.
Pocket monster for you right here.
Kick. Chansey put in so much work. It is so hard to get around. You put all of its investment into defense that Evolite covers. It's measly 5 base.
I don't know why Dan didn't have knockoff on anything.
Whatever. He probably looked at the rest of the threats and went,
live and learn. Live and learn. Yeah, and that's the problem again. Team building against Kyle is like, where do you find room for all of this stuff? But knockoff in this situation, you get the Eviolite off. It's a little easier.
But Chansey always put in the work, even with all the misplays behind it. It did what it needed to do, and it worked out. And I 100% give that match entirely to Chansey. Number 4, Conkeldurr. Now, this is the exact opposite of Chansey, if you ask me. Conkeldurr, he didn't do anything special. He was sent in, and it did what it did, but it was behind the hands of someone who knew what they were doing. And I find it so funny that James is currently using Conkeldurr, because the first time we battled together, my Conkeldurr 6-0'd him.
He's come a long way.
He's come a long way. Conkeldurr and him, their relationship together, full circle. Half circle, baby. Half circle.
It's like enemies coming together. Yeah. It's like Goku and Vegeta.
It's like Goku and Vegeta. But it's like I said. He sends it in. It does exactly what it needs to do, and there's no real getting around it.
And with the support of 2 Trick Room setters as well, they set Conkeldurr up to be the monster that it was in that match.
Yeah, and with James behind the pilot, it was flawless. There was shutting people down.
Thomas was fucking, again, on backpedaling the entire match, basically. Yeah. And Conkeldurr only added to the pressure.
Yeah, oh yeah. Number 3, Stoutland, the classic. The retro monster. This isn't a matter of doing something wild, nothing we haven't seen before. Well, nothing that most of us haven't seen before. But when you send something out like Stoutland, Choice Band Stoutland in the sand, something's gonna die.
It amazes me that Mike wasn't able to use Stoutland correctly when he had it last season.
Well, it's Mike, so...
he had some interesting and inspiring stuff that I might end up doing with Stoutland.
Like that's fine.
Intimidate sets and things like that. But at the end of the day,
a nice choice scarf, a nice choice band, in the sand, band in the sand,
the band in the sand
for Stoutland. That's an original by Mario.
My God.
It's a beast, and it will always be a beast. You can prep for it; it doesn't matter.
Now, why is Stoutland ahead of Conk, considering that it's basically the same thing?
Oh, because it wrecks. It wrecked a little more.
Yeah, I'll take that. No, not that I'm saying like,
move
my mom down. Yeah. Fuck it.
So, number 2, Incineroar.
Oh yeah, okay.
Between Intimidate and Assault Vest, this thing already had all the defenses it needs set up for it to just put in work. Now you're talking about a mon with priority with Fake Out, Pivot, with Dark and Fire as its
attacks.
Yeah. as its type attacks. Like, very offensive, very threatening Pokemon. And it was backed up, like we said before, with...
Road Warrior Animal. Chestnut.
With Chestnut. The 2 of them in tangent, amazing. But Incineroar...
The Christian to his Edge.
God damn it.
The Jeff Hardy to his Matt Hardy.
The
Devon to his Bubba Ray Dudley.
The Kaz to his Enzo? There you go, Manny, they're back! Incineroar is just, it's an amazing mon. I'm so happy that it's actually good, first off. But he couldn't solve it. When you're already bulky and you're throwing on the AV, you're throwing on the Intimidate, how do you deal with something like this? How do you handle it?
Intimidate puts Incineroar in a different category. It ends up like it's surprising that we didn't. Maybe we'll move it up.
We might have to now.
Join its fellow Gen 7 Mon Prim who didn't do a ton in Mike's match, but we'll see, hopefully. No. Who's number 1? Mario?
Oh, number 1? Electros!
Oh, Mario.
Yeah, put myself on the pedestal here. You can watch any match. You will see that Electros put in the most work. Let's be real. He was ready.
He did like 3 moves.
That's all it needed. Full tilt, turn 1. Sorry.
I mean, you want a big, impressive, bombastic play, which is exactly what Electros did, and I think. And again, Weavile ain't no fucking slouch.
No, yeah, it's scary. It is terrifying.
So all right, I'll agree with you there. Electros, especially like you said, you put a defensive mon that did the most work. Oh, the fucking stalwart. Oh, I took moves. Wow, super cool, dude.
Yeah. But Electros actually shook. Like, it's just he didn't prep for it. He didn't know.
Again, had him. Whoa.
Yeah.
Like,
just from turn 1, now you lost Weavile. You lost your fastest person. You sent in Hariyama, which is smart because this is a big fat boy.
Yeah.
Goes for the fake out.
Still faster.
Nice fake out. Now he's going for the knockoff because he probably expected this is an electric type Pokemon. It's probably gonna be a little faster. I'll get that nice knockoff and what's coming in. No, what you dealt with was slow pivot, which is something that a lot of people don't think about. They always want that speedy pivot.
No,
but that's where you get momentum.
Especially Electros when it can take the hit.
When it can take the hit.
So those were the top 5 mons that did work. What are the bottom 5 mons that did work? Who didn't put in any fucking work at all?
Now when I just want to clarify what I mean by bottom 3 are Pokemon that I was really looking forward to see do work, and they did not live up to expectation. They just couldn't do anything. They were shut down. They were completely countered. They were sacked. A lot of that going on. But there are 3 in particular that I want to talk about. Number 3, Sableye.
Okay.
Sableye was a
terror.
Value terror last season. And what happened? It couldn't do what it was meant to do. Now, we said before, Tyrantrum comes in and it was like, I don't even care. I'm just gonna spam head smash. What are you gonna do? You gonna burn me? Oh.
I brought this up when we were talking about it too. That I did that with Boo. That's how you get around. You bait the Willow so you can get your boosting move off, and then not even bait the boosting move, because again he could have just hit Head Smash right there instead of Dragon Dance, and we saw that he did another D Dance and got burned anyway, and then Head Smash was still an Oko.
Yeah.
So
and it's I love Sableye. Sableye is one of my favorite Pokemon. I love Mega Sableye.
I'm glad nobody's drafted Mega Sableye for like 4 seasons.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it that way. Shh. Don't remind them.
What a motherfucker.
But yeah, it's just, I was sad when I saw it go down. I was honestly like, oh, come on.
We admit it was a mistake. It went back up.
Yeah. So, number 2, Weavile.
Oh,
man, I love Weavile. I was so terrified. I didn't over prep for it. I just had a means of getting around it if I needed to. But I was so excited.
You were fucking jazzed.
I was like, someone is going to do work with Kyle, the current champion. Oh, I forgot to mention this before. I get to keep my title as the champion killer.
Oh, well, you didn't kill me yet.
We haven't fought yet.
Motherfucker. That's what I'm saying.
It's been
in the season
a very long time.
In the season that I won the championship, I did beat you twice. Just want to fucking put that right on the table there.
That's because you didn't win yet. I love Weavile. I really do. It is such a cool looking, such a fantastic Pokemon. It just didn't see it coming because it's Electros, so what are you going to do about it? And number 1, Blacephalon.
Okay, alright.
When I heard Blacephalon was finally getting drafted, I was all aboard the hype train. I was like, this thing's a beast, this thing's a monster, this thing got O-code by knockoff, and a part of me died a little on the inside.
Can I defend myself a little bit?
Sure.
I had to make it a sacrificial lamb because I needed to get Sand back up.
I know, but Blacephalon is so cool. And this is a dumb-looking Pokemon, and I'm pretty sure you show that to any Gen 1er, and they will cry.
They're going to throw up.
Gen 1ers around the world bursted into tears.
They're going to be like, is that a Digimon? What the fuck?
It's too weird even for a Digimon. No. That's Blacephalon, and he's the Mon.
And I will like to do more work with Blacephalon throughout the season. I know its showing was not impressive week 1. I know, because it had to be the sacrificial lamb. Because I had it there for Bisharp. I said, and then Bisharp fucking talk about a Pokemon that I thought would do work that didn't.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? And a special shout out to
Bisharp.
To Bisharp, one of the coolest Digimon in all of Pokemon.
So there we go. A little pachi for your.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate.
Top 5, bottom 3 there. So, going into week 2, do you have any advice for our competitors here as to what they can do to step their goddamn game up?
I'm going to beat a dead horse right now. Take that extra second in Team Builder for the love of this draft league.
There you go.
Just avoid all problems. Don't double up on items. Blah, blah, blah. But that aside, have fun with it. If you want to get silly and create some wacky sets just to get one over on your opponent, go for it. Because,
Again, it's a real expectation.
sometimes it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes you brick break Milk Tank, and then your opponent doesn't know what to do after that.
Oh, you had Power Up Punch Milk Tank a few times, too.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Put some stupid shit on your mons.
Prep different. Prep from another angle, if you will. Sometimes, prep make your opponent play you, not just you playing your opponent.
Look at all the mons that they have, too. If you see, I'm looking at the list here. You see Simisear on M1's team, and you're just like, he's not going to fucking bring Simisear. Yeah. And then he shows up, and you don't have an answer. It's like, And then suddenly this 40-point mon is... I think that's kind of what happened with Stoutland was, it's like, well, what the fuck is Stoutland going to do? And then everybody realized it got Sandrush, and it's like, oh no.
Being the best, starting from Tier 5, working his way up the ladder here.
You think he's going to make it to Tier 3 eventually?
He might.
I mean, like...
Keep putting the work like this, we'll see what happens.
Every season, I'm like, why is Mega Swampert still 120 with fucking all you need is a rain setter, and it's a monster?
And it's a beast. I think weather should be punished.
Sand setters aren't cheap, either.
Yeah.
Like, they were 200 and 160 for a long time, and then Gigalith finally fucking got sand, and that's your lowest option. But, like... So having a mon...
Those bitches up. You want to run a sand team, you better... spend the money for it.
I did.
And you did. Look what you did. You destroyed.
I got A+3. So, alright, I think that going into week 2, Mario, I think what we can boil this down to is week 2 the most important week of the season?
No. No, it's
you
not. You
motherfucker!
Sure, yeah, okay. It is for me.
That's the joke!
Oh. Alright.
Have you ever listened to Inside the PFL?
Not at this point. At this point, I'm falling asleep.
Oh my god. That's what I say at the end of every episode, you motherfucker.
No, yeah, I turn it off by now. I listen to my match and then I'm out the door.
Oh, unbelievable. You're uninvited. Get out of here. I'm deleting all of this.
Oh, Alt F4.
So, anyway, week 2, clearly the most important week of the season. Don't listen to Mario. For Inside the PFL, I am Joe.
I'm your substitute co-host, Mario!
And everybody out there, enjoy your matches. Have fun.
I'll be back.